My name is Kyle Smiley Lewis, and you are watching The Tanner Report.
My name is Autumn Wilson, and you're watching The Tanner Report.
Well, I'll tell you what, Rod, over the last 8 years I've been knowing Rod, he's done a marvelous job of growing that program down there.
Walk us through your regiment. What's going on in your mind? How are you prepping? Walk us through that whole dynamic.
I just completely only focus on the board. Everything else doesn't matter. In my head, I visualize what I'm about to do, and I make it into reality, and I do it.
AU always been family to me. And you know that, since I've been with them since I was 8, 9 years old, and that's really when I got, into sports in the U.S. Before that, I was over in Japan and things like that, so.
This season, I actually broke the indoor record in the 60. I think it was 7:46 before, and I lowered it to 7:42.
But tell us a little bit about how AAU was for you as a youth and what you did.
I used to always be in last place, so I used to start walking and have to stop and got my name crying for 4 years straight. And then I finally, got older, got in that more competitive mindset. And then, I just started focusing on my craft, which is how
And I think the AAU has helped me be more goal-oriented, helped me kind of be able to sit down and formulate a plan on how I can achieve those goals and really push myself to the limit and see, how good I really can be.
I'm going to continue to grow and try to always improve. Is there a perfect league out there? I don't think so. We're just going to strive to do the best we can do.
Most definitely. So,
Hi, this is Channing Humphrey with Semi-Pro Live, and we are back for another bi-weekly edition of the Rod Tanner Report. Man, we've got some big-name guests, some big news on the horizon, but, man, I'm not going to keep rambling on. We're going to get to the guy that we all are here to see. We've got Rod Tanner. Rod, so, man, tell us what's new on the horizon in the world of AAU.
Man, as you know, we're kicking off track season is really getting going. So a lot going on there. Of course, the camp coming up this weekend with Jalen Jones, the J17 camp in Killeen. A lot of good things happening across the board from an AAU world and spreading all across the United States. And of course, we're in Central Texas and South Texas, but a lot going on across the spectrum, and anybody interested in being a part of AAU, go to aausports.org and you can get more information, find a club, find an event, learn more about the AAU, and definitely something that has been a big part of my life.
Well, just speaking on that and building off of that subject, your life, man. So we have a new mission statement for the Tanner Report, man. So tell us a little bit more about that mission statement. How'd you come up with that and the meaning behind it?
Well, we definitely want to, educate, engage, entertain, and inspire the AAU community of youth sports. We have to continue to educate. We have to continue to inspire. We have to definitely entertain with the show, of course. So it's all encompassing, but around that whole AAU community is what my mission is.
That's for sure, man. That's for sure. So, not taking up too much, man. Let's get into some of the subjects that we want to touch on before we get to our guests, man. We got a new Facebook group, man. Let's tell people about what's the thought process behind the group and why they should join.
So the Tanner Report Facebook group, definitely want everybody to be a part of that group, so we can highlight athletes and highlight them not just in one particular sport. And so we really want to have the parents and coaches engage and really try to bring light to some of the achievements of the young athletes across the nation.
All right. Well, speaking of the Tanner Report and AAU, so if there's a young athlete, not only they have to join that, they have to join AAU. So how do you go about joining an AAU program or just becoming involved with the whole AAU universe?
So go to aausports.org. Simple, click join AAU, and that's how you get your AAU membership. And then also look for AAU programs within your area. You can find more information again at the national website, aausports.org.
All right, man. Well, on the horizon, we got a couple of big name events. Football season is coming. It's not football season yet. The main focus is still track, basketball, and taekwondo, gymnastics, swimming, everything else in the world of AAU. But coming up in this winter, we're going to have the first event Semi-Pro Live has ever co-hosted. It's going to be the AAU Unrestricted National Championship live from Central Texas. So, Rod, tell us more about this awesome event that is coming to Texas. You don't have to travel east or to Las Vegas or west, or west at all for a national championship. But tell us a little bit more about this event.
So quickly, Unrestricted National, the first weekend of December. It alternates between Texas and Arkansas. It's open to any organization that wants to be a part of it. Just have to get your AAU memberships and come on and be a part of a great national tournament. We last time we hosted it in Texas, about 40 teams showed up, and it was an exciting time. So looking forward to hosting it with Semi-Pro Live.
And now there's a lot of benefits to that AAU membership. Now, outside of just being able to join a number of programs around the country, Rod, what are some of the highlights of having that membership and being part of that exclusive club?
So AAU membership allows you to participate in all the sports AAU offers, and you're insured under the AAU insurance. So great benefit there. Definitely, I encourage anyone to go to the national website and pull the insurance summary down and take a look at it. It's not just a liability. It actually has a great insurance platform behind it. So the other thing with coaches, AAU memberships, background checks. So all coaches get a background check. Anybody working with the athletes, we do that to make sure that we're definitely doing everything right for the communities and for the kids. So
AAU actually cares what kind of people coaching.
Yeah. Well, there's actually a program that we have called AAU Cares. I may get Coach O to talk a little bit about AAU Cares when we get him on. So speaking of that, we've got quite a few guests, and I want to get going on that. Got Donnie Davis with Health Plus, and a great athlete that has been running for a long time within our district, Ms. Gonzalez, and then going to round it out with a guy who knows a lot about AAU, and his son we'll talk a little bit about, but Kevin Bond will be on, and he'll talk a little bit about his time with AAU and how it's impacted his son. So I'm excited to have all of these guests.
I'm sorry about that. I said I'm going to be quiet during that one and listen. I got to take notes during that one.
Well, let's jump into it. First guest, he's the founder of Health Plus. He's also our trainer and medical staff member when we're doing any of our district and regional track meets, and as well as has done some stuff with us for AAU football and helping with information with coaches. But I'd like to bring on the owner of Health Plus, Donnie Davis. How you doing, Donnie?
Doing okay. How are you?
Wonderful.
Nice for having me on.
So, Donnie, tell us a little bit about Health Plus and how this your business got started.
Well, Health Plus got started actually in Arkansas. I'm originally from Arkansas, small town Arkansas. It really started more as an ergonomic field. I was working for a company that was helping ergonomics or what we like to call industrial athletes in a plant called Kimberly-Clark in Conway. The person I was working for actually lost his contract there. And me and my coworkers just kind of thought about, hey, we've learned a lot in this business. Let's see if we can keep it going. At that time, they were looking for somebody with a little more experience in the ergonomic field. So as I moved here to Texas, of course, my sports medicine roots followed me. And, I started working as an athletic trainer for a school district. And as much as I love, working for the school districts, the hours are brutal. So, I decided to go ahead and, just go to teach. Teaching has been pretty cool. I've enjoyed that. You can go in, do your time, and then at the end of the day, you can go home. I have two little girls that, love it when I come home in the afternoons. And of course, tucking them in the bed at night is always a pleasure. But of course, you're going to miss the practices, the games, the events. So that's when I started dusting off Health Plus again. And instead of going the ergonomic route, I started going back to my roots and going into the more sports medicine route again. And that's when I kind of got in touch with you, a few other people, and it's kind of taking off. It's just kind of getting a mind of its own, if you will. And I love that. It's humble beginnings, but at the same time, it gives me a really good sense of the business side of athletic training. Of course, we'll always be able to cover the domains of prevention and treatment, but when it actually comes to employing other athletic trainers, that's been a pretty interesting ride. So I'm really blessed and fortunate to be able to continue doing what I love. Of course, teaching is another facet that I didn't think I'd be doing, but now that I'm here, and like I said, Health Plus is kind of it's kind of taking a mind of its own. It's kind of turning into a creature that's really developing.
So speaking of it taking a mind of its own, talk a little bit about the health prevention and within the whole sports world. You have spoke to coaches that I deal with and a lot of the youth coaches, and with AAU, our focus is really around those youth athletes. But I think there may be a big gap in knowledge when it comes to the youth sports side of it. So kind of talk a little bit about that. And, as we get close to closing out this segment, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, one of the hardest things that we deal with when it comes to, anything is just injuries. Prevention is the key, though. A lot of times when we're looking at a young athlete, our youth, one of the things I always tell, our, coaches dealing with young athletes, pay attention, just be very mindful of what's going on with that athlete. There's so many things I wish I could be able to cover in this segment that hopefully, my next time coming here, I'll be able to kind of dive into.
Yeah, definitely.
But one of the things, I guess if there was a takeaway, just be very diligent of what's going on with the athletes, especially our young kids. Let's talk about technique. Let's start talking about making sure that we create really good habits at a young age, not just with technique, but also things as simple as eating, drinking plenty of water, eating a well-balanced diet, which I know sometimes that can be a challenge for young athletes. If there is an issue today and that issue is still kind of resonating during the next practice or the next game, let's speak into that a little bit more, maybe even talk about going and visit a doctor. But always, pay attention to your athletes, understand that, what may be little to you may be ginormous to that young body or that young person. And I think that would be the only takeaway I can get into right now without taking up too much time.
I appreciate that. That we're talking with Donnie Davis, the founder of Health Plus, and I know Donnie from when he was actually a lead medical staff member and trainer with Wagner High School with the Thunderbirds, but you can see Donnie Davis at the district and regional qualifiers for the South Texas district of the AAU. He'll be set up. He is our medical advisor and trainer at all of our district and regional track qualifiers. And when we host our semifinals for AAU football and state AAU football championship. Thanks a lot, Donnie, for being on the show. And don't forget to stop by and see him at our events. We're going to take a quick break and come right back with Coach O, our national chair for track and field.
We are back. Channing Humphrey with Semi-Pro Live along with Rod Tanner. Channing Report, we're moving on to guest number 2. So, Coach, who do you have next up on your docket?
So this is the second visit for my man. He is the national chair for track and field and an amazing guy, and actually ran a little track back in the day himself. Was pretty fast. Charles Oliver, we know and love him as Coach O. What's going on, Coach?
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be here and to talk about AAU track and field. So I appreciate it.
Hey, man, you know it's near and dear to my heart. So, you know, JO's not far away. So you got to tell us how's things going, man. I know I'm geared up. I'll tell you about a track meet I was at yesterday with 1,600 kids.
Okay. Well, we're very excited about this year. We have our first qualifier coming up. I think the first ones are June the 4th, and we are expecting a record number of athletes to join us in Greensboro, North Carolina. So, say June the 4th we'll begin the road, to Greensboro. The last time we were there, we had 13,601 athletes, which is the largest youth meet in the world for ages 5, to 18. And as I just said just then, we're expecting a record number, of athletes this year, which I'm quite excited about. And I'll say this and be quiet a little bit and let you talk since it's your show. But by saying that we're expecting a record number of athletes, that means to me that a lot of our youth in this country are buying into the philosophy and the principles that we are trying to put, together, here in AAU.
Well, we were at Manor High School yesterday. We had the Clash of Texas. The Austin Honey Badgers are the key team to put that on, and about 1,600 athletes. I have the pleasure of being the announcer, and I saw some amazing times for this early in the season already happening. And I'll tell you, definitely going to be some great representation out of Texas at this year's JOs. And speaking of representation, I remember we talked about it last show, and I want to just kind of see how things are tracking. Still looking to do anything on the international level. I know that you had a big program on the international level. How are things tracking with that?
Well, that's proceeding right along. We've got a group of our members that are going to Jamaica to compete, this weekend. So we're real excited about that pressure track and taking a bunch of 10-year-olds, as I said, to Jamaica to compete this weekend. In a couple of weeks, those same young men will travel and do a meet in Canada. I've been this past weekend, I was actually in Houston, Texas this past weekend and met with one of our members, and we're looking to take our annual trip back to Bermuda in the very near future. And there's actually an opportunity, coming up here within the next 2 months to go back to Bermuda, but we will look to go back to Bermuda definitely next summer. So the international component is really coming along really well. We've got to meet down in Anson Sports Complex, which we designated a couple of years ago as our global training center. So we've invited youth athletes from all over the world to come into Anson Sports Complex and train, there. And we got an international competition June 11th there. So we invite everybody to come down to Anson and be a part of that program.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. I'm talking to programs within my district, and after them hearing about the international competition, definitely want to look at getting some kids out of the Texas area involved in some of that international. And I have some programs that are on board with the fundraising that it would take, because I told them, hey, you got to raise the money to get them there, and they are on board. So we'll definitely look forward to taking that offline and seeing how we can get the kids from Texas to either Jamaica, Bermuda, or Canada. That would be awesome.
And several countries have been reaching out to us, one, have our athletes come and be a part of their, competition, and also looking to come into the U.S. and we're having a couple of training sessions here. So Texas is definitely on our radar with the numbers and the quality of athletes that y'all have there. So we'll definitely have some people from Texas with us on the next trip.
Awesome. Yeah, we're pretty proud of our track athletes in Texas. So we definitely have no problems pounding our chest a little bit when it comes to track and field,
Right.
and football, football. But yeah. So anything exciting coming up for the JOs? Sometimes you may throw a special guest out there. Anything you can put out there yet? You did it for me one year, man. I was there, and there was a couple of Olympic athletes there, man, and I was like, man, this is great. So, what you got, man?
Well, a couple of things that we've got going on at the Junior Olympic Games this year. One, we believe that track and field is an opportunity to interact with our youth, and not only in terms of athletics, but also academics and achievement. And so we're literally inviting all of the Division I programs at this time to come in to AAU Junior Olympic Games, and we're asking them to wear their gear and stuff and just be seen. We want them to recruit our AAU members, give them college scholarships, put them in college, and get them a chance, to enhance and develop their careers outside of the sport of track and field. So, and that program is being sponsored by Mundo. So we're really excited about that. We've got an Olympic program. We've invited the Olympians to come in and be a part of our opening ceremonies. And we've got a lot of Olympians that have started, to reply that they're going to come in and be a part of that. And we have several Olympians that we really love, that they take the opportunity to give back, to our sport. We've got Darnell Hall and Lamont Smith, Jason Rouser, Gary Morgan, Mark Creer, Danette Stone, and a couple of more that are involved, with the program. And they we want our athletes to know that the gold medals that they've seen on TV is an actual person, and we want to give those Olympians an opportunity to to interact with our members. So those are two of the things that we've got going on that we're really excited about coming up this year at JO Games.
Awesome. Well, it's always a pleasure to talk with you, whether we are on the Tanner Report or just picking up the phone and chatting. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing you real soon. Again, congratulations on just doing what you're doing. I know it's a very monstrous task. So great always to have you on the show. Charles Oliver, the National Chair for AAU Track and Field. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with our next guest.
And we are back. More of the Tanner Report. It's not over, man. It's an action-packed episode today. So, Rod, who do you have up for guest 3?
Our next guest, I actually have had the pleasure of watching this young lady run, probably since she was about 8 or 9 years old. An amazing young lady, just a joy to watch compete, because you talk about competing with tenacity and just guts. Ladies and gentlemen, last year's national champion in the 1500 and record holder for AAU, Anastasia Gonzalez. We know and love her and call her Chachi.
Hi.
Hey, Chachi, how you doing?
How you doing?
Good.
Hey, so I think we got you connected all the way in.
Yes.
There we go. Great. So I think you're at practice and training right now.
Yes.
So I thank you for being on the show. I know you're getting ready for some big stuff here, and we're going to try to be respectful of your time. But if you could tell everybody a little bit about your AAU life and kind of how things have transpired for you from an AAU perspective.
I started whenever I was like probably like 8 or 9 years old, and I don't know, just like being out on the field like with everyone gets me so excited because like I don't know, every year I come out to the AAU meets in the summer. I always meet new like people and like I don't know, I like having friends there to like motivate me and to like just encourage me and just like to have fun while like running. And I just love being out there like every season. So it's been great.
All right. Hold one moment. We're going to take a quick break. We're having a little bit of a technical difficulty. We'll be right back. You're watching the Rod Tanner Report.
My name is Kyle Smiley Lewis, and you are watching the Tanner Report.
My name is Autumn Wilson, and you're watching the Tanner Report.
Well, I'll tell you what, Rod, over the last 8 years I've been knowing Rod, he's done a marvelous job of growing that program down there.
Walk us through your regiment. What's going on in your mind? How are you prepping? Walk us through that whole dynamic.
I just completely only focus on the board. You know, everything else doesn't matter. In my head, I visualize what I'm about to do, and then I make it into reality, and I do it.
You know, AU always been family to me. I mean, you know that, like, since I've been with them since I was 8, 9 years old, and that's really when I got, like, into sports in the U.S. Before that, you know, I was over in Japan and things like that, so.
This season, I actually broke the indoor record in the 60. I think it was 7:46 before, and I lowered it to 7:42.
But tell us a little bit about how AAU was for you as a youth and what you did.
I used to always be in last place. So I used to start walking and have to stop and down my knees and crying for 4 years straight. And then I finally, got older, got in that more competitive mindset. And then, I just started focusing on my craft, which is how
And I think the AAU has helped me be more goal oriented, helped me kind of be able to sit down and formulate a plan on how I can achieve those goals and really push myself to the limit and see, how good I really can be.
I'm going to continue to grow and try to always improve. Is there a perfect league out there? I don't think so. We're just going to strive to do the best we can do.
Most definitely. So,
All right, we're back. This is Channing Humphrey with Semi Live. Sorry, we had a little bit of a technical difficulty. We lost our satellite link, but we are back. We've got our guest. Rod, are you still here with us?
Yes, I am. And
well, let me get out the way. I'm going to let you guys back to the business at hand.
All right. So we're back with Anastasia Gonzalez. We know and love her as Chachi. We were talking a little bit about her early days in the AAU. But tell us some of your most memorable moments of competing at that national level.
Let's see. I think it was probably like my freshman year. I did so many events. Like I did the 400-meter hurdles. I think it was the 800 and the pentathlon. But I don't know. It was just so exciting to be out there. Like even though I was there for like so many days because I did so many like events because like the pentathlon had a lot in it. It was just so exciting, and I don't know. I enjoyed being out there.
Yeah, that was awesome. I remember when you did that. You ran the 400 hurdles, you ran 800, and I think that may have been your first year with the heptathlon, I believe. Yeah, the heptathlon. Yeah, and phenomenal to watch you compete. And then last year you had a pretty exciting run. Tell us a little bit about last year's Junior Olympics.
Last year I ended up getting the 1500-meter record by, I think it was like 2 seconds. I ran like a 4:22, which was really exciting just because like I just went out there and I felt so excited and I had like the crowd helping me. So they like really pushed me to get that record, but it was so fun.
Well, I was pushing. I was watching it live online. I couldn't make it to the JOs, but I was screaming and hollering. So maybe you heard me all the way from Texas too.
Yes.
So now on the horizon, you've got the state high school track meet coming up. I watched you run at the regional meet. So
Yes.
what's on the docket for state track meet? What do you got? What are you competing in?
I'll be running the 3200 in the morning, and then around like 5:30 I'll be doing the 800, and about 3 hours after that I'll do the 1600.
So just a little light workout day for Chachi. That's what we'll call it. Little something. So and after high school's over, you're making your way somewhere. Where are you going?
I'll be at the University of Arkansas.
So you're gonna be Razorback. Yeah, there you go. Well, congratulations on getting accepted to the University of Arkansas, and then that scholarship as well.
Thank you.
Tell the viewers kind of why Arkansas.
I visited many schools, but I just loved Arkansas because, well, first I loved the girls that were there and just like the place it was at. But the coaching was really like, they understood me more, and it was something that I wanted to like. I wanted them like as a coach just because they felt like, I don't know, like I feel like they had like, they would believe in their athletes more, and they gave them the resources that they needed to like compete and to like recover and stuff. So yeah.
Awesome. That is awesome. Well, I definitely want to say thank you for being on the Tanner Report. I definitely want to have you back on the show. You know, I've always been a fan, and looking forward to seeing you. I will be at the state meet to watch you run. So I wish you the best and good luck. And if I don't talk to you, which I hope I will, before you leave for Arkansas, good luck at the University of Arkansas. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
That was Anastasia Gonzalez, better known as Chachi. She is one of South Texas AAU shining stars and has been for some time. We're excited that we got to have her on the show. We're going to take a quick break and come right back. We've got another great guest, Kevin Mon, dad of Kellen Mon.
All right, we are back. But we have a special guest to end the show this episode. So, Rod, go ahead and introduce us to our last guest for the evening.
Yeah, and you definitely want to stick around for this one. Kevin Mon and I kind of knew each other growing up in high school, and then we kind of little separation because you become an adult, and next thing you know, we run back into each other, and he's coaching AAU track, and he had this kid that he was dragging along with him, and was a pretty darn good track athlete. But is a good friend of mine, Kevin Mon. Kevin, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Chico. My man, how you doing, buddy?
All right. Well, I got to tell the quick story. So Kevin Mon coached the AAU track with Randolph Roadrunners for a long time. He had a son out there running, and then his son, about 8th grade, he walks up to me and he tells me, "That's it, my son's done. He's not going to run track anymore." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? Your son's going to Junior Olympics. He's running track. He's a great track athlete." He said, "I think he's going to be a pretty good football player." Now, this is his son in 8th grade. He's walking out of D.W. Buckner Stadium. He tells me, I didn't even know his son played football. And lo and behold, you tell your son then goes and does what? Tell everybody what your son has done.
My son in the last several years after AAU track high school, 4-year starter at Texas A&M University, and was selected with the 66th pick last year, 3rd round of the NFL draft by the Minnesota Vikings as a quarterback. So proud of him, very happy, and none of this would be possible without what he's accomplished starting out as a youth in AAU track.
Man, and that's amazing, because I know you and I both probably can go down a list of kids who ran AAU track.
Yes.
A list of kids who ran AAU track and then went on to a collegiate level and then and went pro, and maybe not pro in track, pro in a lot of different things. I mean, we can go down a list, but so tell the viewers that don't know about your run as a coach and working with kids in AAU track and what that kind of meant to you.
Mm-hmm. First off, coaching AAU track is tremendous. I think what a lot of people don't understand is everything that we provide for AAU track and AAU's provided for us in the coaching, it's all about the kids. That's first and foremost. And everybody is dedicated, people like myself and you and everybody involved with AAU track. We do it for the kids and see the kids' development and give the kids an avenue of other things that they can accomplish in life. And I'm so proud of what the organization has provided and what it's done for me in my life and going forward. So
awesome, man. I really appreciate, those great words of inspiration and the sentiment behind it. So, So Kellen goes on. He ran AAU track, then he goes to A&M. So, hopefully one day we can get him on the show. But did that track foundation really help him excel on the football field?
I think it did, Chico. When I put Kellen in track, originally just to make him and help him become a better football player. I've always had a philosophy, no matter what you do in life, and especially in athletics, as long as you have the basis for being able to run, have balance and coordination, that's going to set you up for more success. And there's nothing that does that than running track. And AAU was a great platform and organization to be able to do that and provide it for us. A lot of people, like you said, didn't even know he played football. So once he started excelling at track, then we had some decisions to make. But obviously, you see the success he's had on the football field, and that all comes from what he had development in track. Balance, coordination, training, running ability, speed. It's just amazing the way it's worked.
And I can probably attest to it because I watched him run, and then a couple of times when he was at A&M, he just would be in that pocket getting ready to throw the ball and nobody's open, and next thing you know, down the sideline he goes for 50 yards for a touchdown. And when he got into the open field, it looked like he was running the 100-meter dash.
It's funny you say that, Chico. Track, development, all that A skip, B skip and stuff that track athletes do. A lot of people always said it never looked like he was running fast. Well, it was good form. He had great running mechanics, good form, high knee action and all that. And it doesn't look like you're running fast. But when your mechanics are that good, like his are and a lot of other elite track athletes, that's the way it's supposed to be. You ain't supposed to be hearing the feet hit the ground. So get them up, put them down, pick them up. How we always used to say it, Chico.
There you go. That was the thing. If I hear your feet hitting the ground, we got some work to do. But
we got work to do.
Yeah, man. So I'm definitely looking forward to watching him more with the Minnesota Vikings. How's everything going with him with the Vikings right now?
I think camp is going well. He's in good spirits. They have new coaching staff and everything, and he's going through a big, extensive playbook. A lot to learn, but a smart kid. He'll get it and grasp it. Every year is going to be better for him. This year, going into year 2, he'll be battling probably to be the backup quarterback spot in Minnesota. I think he'll do a very good job at that. And OTAs have gone well, and training camp will start at the end of July for him. So he's continued to train, work out down in Florida with people like Teddy Bridgewater. And, we'll see. The sky's the limit for the kid who's very talented.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. Definitely a lot of talent. And, he got to play in A&M with several young men that came right out of our district that ran track also. How was that as a parent? You saw some of those kids and then turn around, and now those kids that you actually may have coached a little bit or been around, how was that to see them all of a sudden, wearing the Aggie colors?
I'm thrilled. I'm happy for the people like Kellen and Jalen Jones and stuff, coming through the AAU circles. And, Kiana Horton, who's, like family to us, of course. growing up in the AAU circle. So we've seen them all in all the elite ones, and people have run in state championship meets in Austin for UIL and things. You know, as long as track is out there in the basis, these kids have a great lineage to be able to do what they want to do in life. They're going to be fine. I'm so proud of the kids and the youth of the day and what AAU provides. As I've said, I really can't thank them enough. You know, my 7-8 year run with the Roadrunners was tremendous, and I still miss it today. I wish I can get back into it, but I'm a busy man, of course. Yeah.
Hey, I tell you what, I miss coaching too. You know, I coached my daughter, and she went to 10 Junior Olympics.
Yes.
It was exciting to watch her compete. You know, she finally, at one of them, I think we were at Eastern Michigan. She got up on the podium. You know, then I actually in my man cave have her one jersey and her one medal. I've got it framed and proud daddy moment for sure.
Yes.
Crazy enough, she was competing in Randall Cunningham's daughter, Satya. They competed against each other in long jump for many times. Of course, she went on to be a pro high jumper.
Mm-hmm.
little different than that girl is and was amazing then. You know, Randall Cunningham definitely one of the greatest quarterbacks to play the game. But his daughter also was a great AAU athlete, and you know, you mentioned Kiana Horton, which you knew her and still know her very well. Went on. She was at Baylor. Another great AAU champion athlete. So again, the foundation, great foundation. We're giving out $8,000 in scholarships this year in the South Texas District for track and field. I'm excited.
That's tremendous. That's tremendous, Chico. That is tremendous.
So,
you know, I tell you what, between me and you, something that's funny that you mentioned earlier that a lot of people didn't know. Nobody knew that Kellen was ever a football player until we were up at the Ypsilanti, Michigan meet back in the day. Till we were at AU, that was at Eastern Michigan University up there. We were working on some handoffs for the 4x1 relay up there, and we were at a park where we were working on handoffs. We had some downtime, so the kids started throwing footballs on the ground. And so Kellen was throwing the receivers, and Kellen throws a ball about 55 yards in the air, and everybody's like, "Man, Kellen, you should get into football and play quarterback." And me and Kellen kind of looked at each other and just started laughing, and we're like, he does. And they're like, "You play football?" And we're like, "Yeah, track is great, but this is not why we're here." You know, he's a football player just running track to get better. So nope, that was the day that everybody realized he was a football player. Up until then, nobody knew it. And he had already been running track at that time for at least 4 years.
Man, I tell you what, and ran the quarter too. I mean, he wasn't just like running sprints. He ran the quarter. And I think, I'm not mistaken, didn't he run the 800 once?
He ran 400s and 800s. He ran the 800 a bunch of times.
Yeah, okay. I thought he was
4x1 relay numerous times.
Yeah, I thought he ran that 800, you know, which is a little different when you talk about an NFL quarterback that ran the 800. You know, that doesn't. It seems like, you know, you would think more of a sprinter, but that's great though, because that means he had the conditioning and endurance. So when he got to that next level, you know, and getting into SEC Division I college, you know, conditioning and training, he had the foundation.
I think that was big, Chico, because being a track coach, we always had a philosophy, and especially me, the rule of track is what we call one up, one down. So whatever your main event is, whether it's a 400, well, for strength and conditioning work, you got to run some 800s, and for speed work, the one down is 200s. So if your primary event's 400, you got to run 2 4s and 8s. If your primary event is the 200, then you got to run 1 2s and 4s.
There you go. Yeah. And one up, one down. The philosophy I totally agree with.
Yes.
You know, I know we had Charles Oliver on the show earlier, and I think he's still tuned in, but I'm sure he would not disagree with you, because he ran a little bit of those types of events as well when he was in college, and did some coaching as well. So yeah, he's still there. You still there, Coach?
Yeah, he's still there.
I'm still here. I'm enjoying this.
I figured you were. When I saw you were still with us, I thought let's bring it back on. We got a little time. If you got some time, so
hey,
Charles
Oliver,
Kevin Mon. I don't know if y'all ever met.
No, I don't think so. No.
And that's awesome, man, because you know, Coach O, Hearing that story, how does that make you feel about the AAU program?
Well, it makes me feel real good. Obviously, Kevin has spent a lot of time, in the program and with his son, and just, to hear the thought processes and the background. That was a plan. They stuck to their plan. They executed it, and as opposed to, some people that just kind of come out, they're going to have track practice today, or they're going to go to a meet, this season. That was a plan and a purpose. And I'm so thrilled to be able to hear this story, and it just needs to be shared, with as many people as possible. And that's one of the reasons, with your program, here, so that we can make sure, Rod, that as many people get a chance to hear these stories of background, how people got to be to the successful spot that they're currently in.
Definitely. There's the Shaquille O'Neals, there's the Ezekiel Elliott's, there's the Jackie Joyner Kerseys. I mean, the list goes on and on of AAU alum. And now we add Kellen Mond to the AAU alum that has gone to the next level. Well, Kevin, I want to say thank you so much for taking the time out to be on the Tanner Report. Definitely plan on having you back on the show at some time. And hopefully we can somehow get 15 minutes of that busy schedule of Kellen and get him on.
Absolutely.
Just to give his thoughts and any inspiration he can give to the youth of America. But thanks for being on the show.
Absolutely. That's important to us, Chico. We'll make it happen.
Awesome. Kevin Mond, former AAU coach and father of Kellen Mond, now quarterback with the Minnesota Vikings, and Kellen Mond, of course, coming through the South Texas district of the AAU in track and field. So we're going to take a short break, and then Channing and I are going to come back and close out the Tanner Report. We'll be right back.
All right, folks, we are back. Well, let's go ahead and close them out, man. I'm going to let Rod reintroduce his guest and maybe give a final remark before we go ahead and close out tonight's show. So, Rod.
I'll tell you, man, it was a great show. Of course, Donnie Davis still with us there with Health Plus, and appreciate him being on the show. We had Anastasia Gonzalez. Everybody loves and knows her as Chachi. One of our top athletes out of the South Texas district of the AAU. Charles Oliver, the national chair for track and field for AAU. And then we close out the show with Kevin Mond, father Kellen Mond, who is now with the Minnesota Vikings. But Kevin, a longtime coach for AAU track and field, and a great guy from the area that I've known, and so glad that he was part of our show. So, Channing, any thoughts about today's show? Anything you want to add?
Man, it lived up to expectations. Big time guests, big time athletes. The usual when you watch the Rod Tanner Report. It's just exciting to get to the next one. So we have some of the guests still here. You want to bring in some of our, which coach would you start?
I believe Donnie was still with us, and Kevin's still with us. But thanks again for being on the show, and really appreciate it. And we'll definitely be back with another great episode. We'll line up the guest and have some more great topics, and definitely look forward to the watch list coming soon. We're working on the watch list as the AAU track season gets rolling, and we'll be kind of trying to give you a little updates and highlights on some of those athletes coming, continue to work and get you more information on being healthy and prepping for your medical side and physical side from a track perspective with Health Plus, and definitely much more on the horizon with Semi-Pro Live and everything that we're partnered with. So don't miss the next episode. If you want to get your athletes involved in the Tanner Report, go to the Tanner Report on Facebook, and got some more fun stuff coming up soon. Going to be doing some giveaways with Semi-Pro Live and the Tanner Report soon. So you want to stay tuned and get on the social media platform so you can find out how you can win some nice prizes. And Channing's got some cool stuff that he's got kind of set to the side for the Tanner Report and those AAU folks out there. So you want to see what Channing's got in store. So hey.
Episode, but until next time, we'll see you guys again on the Rod Tanner Report.
My name is Kyle Smiley Lewis, and you are watching the Tanner Report.
My name is Autumn Wilson, and you're watching the Tanner Report.
Well, I'll tell you what, Rod, over the last 8 years I've been knowing Rod, he's done a marvelous job of growing that program down there.
Walk us through your regimen. What's going on in your mind? How are you prepping? Walk us through that whole dynamic.
I just completely only focus on the board. Everything else doesn't matter. In my head, I visualize what I'm about to do, and I make it into reality, and I do it.
AU always been family to me. You know that, since I've been with them since I was 8, 9 years old, and that's really when I got, into sports in the U.S. Before that, I was over in Japan and things like that, so.
This season, I actually broke the indoor record in the 60. I think it was 7:46 before, and I lowered it to 7:42.
But tell us a little bit about how AAU was for you as a youth and what you did.
I used to always be in last place, so I used to start walking and have to stop and got my name crying for 4 years straight. And then I finally, got older, got in that more competitive mindset. And then, I just started focusing on my craft, which is how
And I think the AAU has helped me be more goal-oriented, helped me kind of be able to sit down and formulate a plan on how I can achieve those goals and really push myself to the limit and see, how good I really can be.
I'm going to continue to grow and try to always improve. Is there a perfect league out there? I don't think so. We're just going to strive to do the best we can do.
Most definitely. So